don't worry, guys. We didn't. This is. I know that this is like a few minutes behind the last one because this is part 2. Dad had to clear out some of the movies because he just knew we couldn't do all the videos in one video. Movies in one video.
Well,
so we are just gonna do these behind me. I don't know if you could see them, but yeah, we're just gonna do the ones behind us, and hopefully we make it through.
We're going to go through these quickly, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Puppet Master fans. I've got, whoa, where's the other half of it? Well, anyway, this is part of it. This is Puppet Master 1, or 4, 5, and 6, I think?
6.
Yeah. I've got 1, 2, and 3. I bought them in one collection. You can now get them all in one case fairly cheaply. If they're still available. This is an Echo Bridge release. I don't know if it's still available. I think it is. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't notice, I tried to get rid of some of the glare on the screen, so hopefully that's a little easier on the eyes.
Is there a 7th?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it's called. This is a brutal movie based off a true story from Australia, Wolf Creek. This guy just basically butchers these kids, man. It's terrifying, and the fact it really happens makes you feel all the more for the families. It's definitely, ultimate human drama, but done in a horrific way. This is a funny little movie. Little tiki guy running around. A lot of people don't have a sense of humor about this one. I think it's a lot of fun.
It says
little tiki doll.
Tiki.
Tiki.
Tiki. Tiki.
We still got the glare. Not sure why, but anyway, we're doing it in a different place than what I usually do with different lighting, so it was just easier this way.
And also
the eye. Now, Jessica Alba did a Hollywood version. They did a remake. This is the original Japanese version. This is by far probably my favorite. I would say by far probably. I'd say by far. It's my favorite Japanese horror movie I've ever seen.
I can kind of see why it's called the eye, because if you look closely at it, it kind of, sort of looks like an eye.
You want to know why it's called the eye?
Why?
This girl, she can't see, she's blind, so she has an eye transplant, but the eye transplant comes from somebody who is an evil person, and so she sees horrific things and stuff. So, anyway, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, highly recommended. The Vault.
For some reason,
fun little movie.
For some reason, I read that as The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Okay. But anyway, The Vault, it's a fun movie. Has mostly an African American cast, so if you feel like black people are underrepresented in horror movies, watch that one. You might think
I actually have Breath of the Wild on my Nintendo Switch.
All right, creature features. I love creature features with worms. The original MGM DVD version, Squirm. This is also available from Shout Factory on Blu-ray now. Has been for a while. Definitely a lot of fun. Strongly recommend that movie.
Just kidding, I'm not going to throw up. But that is very disgusting.
Here's one from Screen Media Films, First Look Entertainment, The Surge. Interesting little movie. Actually, don't hear much about this one, but I enjoyed it. I've had this for a very long time. I don't even know if this is still available. You might not even be able to get this anymore. I do not know.
It was just going boom, 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 just switching the people.
On Thanksgiving, Black Friday, they did put this out on Blu-ray. The Children, with a much better print than this, cleaned up. It sold out very quickly. I missed out on that because I really didn't want to buy both of them at the same time. So I went for the release of Mausoleum instead. Since I just bought this on DVD recently, even though it's not the greatest print. But it's a great movie, great film, by the way.
We have one, Kiss Daddy Goodbye. I don't really know. For some reason, Daddy, I still feel like Kiss Daddy Goodbye, Daddy. Anyways, I still feel like we have showed this one for some reason.
No, you saw it sitting on the bed. 905 Films, that label. I don't know how well you can see that, but they are out of business too. Kiss Daddy Goodbye, not a fantastic movie. It kind of falls apart here and there, but I still kind of enjoy it. That just kind of adds to the creepiness of it. Marilyn Burns, again, as you can see, from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She's the last survivor at the end, and I love Marilyn Burns. I heard she was a really nice lady too. She died here a few years ago. A lot of people from Texas Chainsaw Massacre are no longer with us.
And I bet that's What was her name?
Marilyn Burns?
I bet Marilyn Burns is the. I bet that is Marilyn Burns, laying on the train track right there.
It's not.
And it got run over by the Emma train.
Actually, wait, Marilyn Burns might be in this. Hold on, there is a cameo appearance by somebody in this movie, and I can't remember who it is. Was it Marilyn Burns? I don't think so. I don't see it on here, but this was also marketed as Beyond the Door 3, just to get American audiences interested in it, since the Beyond the Door was very popular and did well. And then they took Shock, Mario Bava's Shock, and turned it into Beyond the Door 2. You're right in my... and then, so this was, again, on video as Beyond the Door 3. Has nothing to do with the other films, just like the second one had nothing to do with the first one. And a Mutt Train is a lot of fun.
I'm actually holding the first one right.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually holding the first one right now.
He's holding the slip cover. There it is. This was going to be in a later video, but here it is now. And I've also got this on Blu-ray, so when I get around to my Blu-rays, this will be in that video. So anyway.
Just if you guys wanted to
with the
see
slip
it.
cover. Original Code Red goodness. This one was actually available in Best Buys. Code Red has been having some problems with their distribution lately. William Olson, the guy that owns the company and runs it, he's fallen on some bad health apparently, and so they're having a hard time keeping the company going and keeping the releases stocked.
Just if you guys wanted to see it.
I mean, Code Red movies are rare enough as it is, so getting a hold of a copy is kind of a big deal for a collector.
What is known as Beyond the Door 2?
Beyond the Door 2 is Shock, and I talked about that in a previous video.
Oh yeah, I watched a little bit of it, but then got a little bit scary. Woo!
Those of y'all that like...
I decided to leave.
Those of y'all that like the sinister puzzles, I have Saw unrated. So there's Saw. Y'all know the Saw movies. Got Danny Glover, and basically people have to mutilate themselves to get out of this guy's traps. He's punishing society, so to speak, for their sins. Saw 2, lenticular cover. So kind of a cool thing. And then, of course, Saw 3. Came in this kind of clear case. Kind of unusual packaging. Kind of like that. Kind of different. These are all unrated versions, of course.
Here is Joyride Dead. Joyride 2, Dead Ahead, unrated.
Right, and we had Joyride in the last video. So,
oh really?
Yeah, so this sequel...
Well, there you guys...
And this ain't a terrible follow-up. It's not bad. It's definitely kind of fun. If you like the first one, I'd say give this one a shot, see what you think. Just don't have, high expectations based on the first one. You'll be all right.
Well, there you guys have it. Joyride 2.
Oh, here we go. Here's the other half of the Puppet Master series I talked about. That's 1, 2, and 3 right there. Like I said, they came together, but they are in separate boxes.
I'm pretty sure we showed this one, Garden of the Dead.
Yeah, but guess what? That Garden of the Dead is just the name of the collection. It's the Garden of the Dead Zombie Collection. Garden of the Dead is the name of one of the movies on here, but it's got the uber funny, highly underrated, nobody's seen it. It's ridiculous. I laugh so hard. Butt Crack. Butt Crack is fantastic.
And
my wife hates it, so you know it's good.
Unspeakable.
And Unspeakable. Unspeakable was actually all kinds of whacked out crazy.
You know what? Should I just not speak for the rest of this video? Oh.
And this is a Trauma triple feature. This is one of several of these collections they did. I don't think they're still in print, so if you find them, go ahead and snatch them up. You wanting to show off the next two there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So the ones I am holding right now is After Midnight.
We'll do them one at a time.
This one is After Midnight. What the?
Yeah.
Is this known as Midnight 2?
Nope. No, there was a movie called Midnight, totally unrelated, that we put in the last video. This is After Midnight. And this is now available from Shout Factory on Blu-ray, and as Marg Helgenberger is the one that I remember being in it that I know. You probably remember from, I don't even remember what show on TV, honestly.
And I'm also...
But it's an anthology. It's a bunch of little short stories. And it's not the best anthology I've ever seen, but it's not bad. Go ahead, Wyatt.
And I'm holding Eden Lake right now. Did we already do a thing in the last video where it said lake in it?
Well, there's other movies that have the word lake in it. We might have. I don't remember right at the moment. But it's Dimension Extreme. Again, if you can find it, if you see it, pick it up. Don't think you can get these very easily anymore. I believe they're out of print. But Lake Eden, I mean, it's a slip cover, but it's the same as the cover art. So exactly the same. This is truly one of the most depressing, horrific, and I think it's based off a true story as well. This movie definitely, it's a downer, but it's real human drama, and
Where is it?
it's definitely a film worth your time. It's definitely it's a little hard to watch, but it's definitely truly horrific. So it fits the horror genre quite nicely. So
And guys, I don't know if I can fit. I'm just gonna do them one at a time. So let's start with Jack Frost. 1.
yep, the blood of a homicidal killer gets mixed in with the snow, turns into a snowman, or was it nuclear waste? I don't remember. But anyway, it's all kinds of craziness and it's fun. It's got
This truly looks like a snowman. Jack Frost 2.
yeah, Jack Frost has these little snowball babies with little teeth. Now, some of these were released originally with lenticular covers on video.
Okay, I need to
So-
show you something on the back. Guys, I literally just spied this. What is this snowman doing here? Just thought I'd show you guys.
Now, here's another Dimension Extreme film. Now, this one used to have a slip cover, but I let somebody borrow it, and the slip cover disappeared, but oh well. It had the same cover art, but Storm Warning, this one is actually quite good. Man and woman taken hostage and trying to figure out how they're going to survive these terrible people who's taken them hostage and kidnapped them, and it's good. And of course, there's a storm going on at the same time. This is one of the better Dimension Extreme films. This is probably toward the top for me.
And I am holding The Ring 2.
And the first Ring is in here somewhere. We just haven't got to it yet. But yeah, The Ring 2.
And
A lot of people don't like this movie very much. It's not as good as the first, but it's still worth watching. I still like it.
Okay, that is scary. Guys, when I was gonna show the baby, I just saw the little toes here, but then I saw this thing dropping blood. Oh.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is this isn't. The weird thing is this movie kind of throws you off because it's not actually about a baby, but it's about a man who has mental disorders who is treated like a baby and allowed to be raised like one. And this movie I think it was made for television. I don't think this would make it on television now without at least a TV 14 or whatever it is. But this movie is actually very good, and this is available from Arrow on Blu-ray. So this is definitely worth your time. It is a great story, great performances. There's definitely some twists and surprises in it. A lot of fun. I would strongly recommend this movie.
And also, I am holding A New Breed of Terror, Razor Black.
Razorback.
Razor.
You ever heard of Razorbacks? They're these wild boars. Well, this was, I think, an Australian movie. And some people thought, well, this movie proved that pigs make terrible enemies in horror movies. But actually, I thought Razorback was a lot of fun. It's part of the Warner Archive collection, so it's burn on demand. So, see, most of them, they look kind of like that.
If it's Australian, did you get it in Australia?
Nope. No, it was an American release, but I think it was shot in Australia. And it's got kind of the blue-colored disc, as you can see. It's a burn on demand. Picture looks great, though. Don't let if you've never had a Warner Archive collection DVD, you've never bought one of these, the quality is actually very good. I mean, Warner does it right. They're a big studio. I mean, they look good. They sound good. These aren't, public domain muddy transfers that, are going to be really pixely and hard to watch. These are good transfers. So don't let the fact that these are burn on demand discourage you. They're very good.
And I am holding 3 more movies. If you didn't see that, I went leaning back to get some movies. I am holding Cut.
Oh, wait. There's another movie on there that's a double feature, see?
I completely missed that.
Molly Ringwald in a horror movie, Cut. Molly Ringwald's in that, Pretty in Pink.
And it's
16
also
Candles.
called...
And then the St. Francisville Experiment.
Okay.
Which is kind of a crazy, after the found footage movies like Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity, St. Francisville Experiment actually has some surprisingly good scares here and there. Some of the acting is ridiculous, but hey, it's a horror movie. What do you expect? These aren't Oscar-winning performances. Don't need them. Actually, bad performances make movies better sometimes. But St. Francisville Experiment, a fun little ghost movie.
And here is another unrated movie. Dun, dun, dun. buried alive.
Yep, and this is Dimension Extreme. And this one was actually quite a bit of fun too. Didn't have a slip cover for this, but the slip cover, if you find one with a slip cover, looks the same as that. No different box art. The same. Just another good slasher. What you got there?
I am holding the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay.
And this is the unrated version.
I almost dropped
Once upon a time, you ever heard of Blockbuster? I bought this from them, so I don't know if this version's been cut or not. I never saw it in the theater, so I don't know the difference, because it is the unrated version, so anyway. Exorcism of Emily Rose, definitely worth checking out. A lot of fun.
Okay, guys, I just grabbed 3 more movies, and this one is The Man Next Door.
Yep, it's about a guy that moves in across from this girl, and, you know, she kind of falls in love with him, and he's got some secrets. This is from York Entertainment, and again, a label that's been out of circulation, been out of business for quite some time. This is one of my favorite releases of theirs. I actually had a few of their other movies, and I ended up getting rid of them because I just didn't think I'd ever watch them again. They weren't that
Is
good.
one of his secrets that the man actually hates her, but he asks
he's a killer.
Well,
But I'm sure it's a horror movie. I'm sure I'm not giving away anything drastic there.
okay. I actually dropped this movie. It is called The Pack.
Yep. What happens when dogs are left to their own, and they let the dogs go and they don't have any human contact? Well, the dogs all kind of band together and hate people. This was actually a fun movie, again, part of the Warner Archive collection. Glad it finally got some sort of a decent release. Actually, I didn't get to see this back when it came out when I was younger. I actually acquired this probably within the last 5 years or so. But it's a good one.
And I'm also holding Surviving the Game.
Yeah.
Yay!
And Season of the Hunted, I mentioned earlier, was a lot like this movie.
Or
but
its nickname, The Drop. Boom.
This is the
Because I dropped it.
This is the big budget version of Season of the Hunted, Surviving the Game, Rutger Hauer, Ice-T. Basically, you know, the hunter becomes the hunted. He thinks he's going on a hunting trip, doesn't realize he's what's being hunted. Great film. Fantastic movie.
And I'm holding 3 more. It is called Scrament? Is this?
Sacrament.
Sacrament.
This movie I had a hard time getting through. I don't want to offend anybody, so I won't tell you why. But, you know, what I saw of it was good, but it didn't need some of the stuff that was in it that just kind of, you know, I don't know. Just kind of bothered me.
And I sometimes have a hard time getting basketball hoops done because, well, I don't play basketball that often. But I did play some this morning at church.
Oh, by the way, this also has one of Marilyn Burns' last appearances in film before she died. So, anyway, yeah, like I said, I had a hard time getting through it. I never did actually totally finish it, but anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
And church is, if you didn't know, is also nicknamed as Paranormal Activity 3. Just thought it'd be a fancy way of
you saw
showing in the next movie.
Yeah, this is the movie that's kind of a prequel to the first 2. The second one's actually my favorite. This movie, when it was released, they released a trailer to the theaters, and the trailer was really good, and then all them scenes basically were not in the movie. So what they showed you, what was in the final product, was totally different from the footage they put in the trailer. And honestly, I thought the stuff in the trailer was better than what ended up in the film. So for that reason, even though this was the biggest moneymaker, this is probably down toward the bottom of the barrel for ours, the Paranormal Activity movies go, but it's still worth a watch. I mean, if you like the first 2, it's not horrible. It's just my least favorite, probably, of this series. Go ahead.
So, this next horror movie cover, I think it deserves a jump scare. Boom! The Ice Crawlers.
Ice Crawlers is fun. It's not overly gory. It's rated R, but, you know, just kind of barely. But it's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I'd always wanted to see it, and it was a blind buy. I just finally picked it up. I like the cover. Sometimes the cover sucks you in. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of turning into the movie shower right now, right? Because
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just grabbing 3 movies at a time.
When you have kids, this is part of the joy of having children. See, they get to be involved in everything.
Yep. And the one I picked now in the first one, you're showing into first. It's called Tales from the Dark Side of the Movie.
Yep.
So is there a book?
No, it was a TV series.
Oh.
And of course, these, they can go where TV wouldn't allow them to go with some of these stories. It's got Deborah Harry, lead singer of Blondie. Who else is in it? It's got a lot of people in it. Christian Slater, David Johansen, William Hickey. I love William Hickey. Radon Chong, Julianne Moore, Steve Buscemi. So this is a fun anthology film. Definitely one of the better ones, as far as I'm concerned, out there of the horror anthology films. Tales from the Dark Side.
And the next one I am holding is by Liam
Neeson.
The Gray.
Now, I was kind of debating whether or not to include this in this video, but to me, it definitely has some horrific elements. It's definitely a thriller, but it's really more of a drama than a thriller. It's a little bit of both. It's a very unique film. I actually loved this movie. And this is one that I revisit all the time.
And also,
if wolves scare you at all, this is a good, granted some of the wolves are CGI, if not all of them, but they are scary and it is effective and it just adds to the movie. So I would strongly recommend this movie by Liam Neeson, The Gray.
And it looks like he has a little bit of an owie.
Yep, he gets quite a few owies in that film.
That makes it sound like, and that is a good wrap up for the Amityville.
You mean lead in? Yeah, this is the.
I don't know how to say it. Apparently, I can't understand English.
This is, you're fine, hun. This is the remake. I showed you the other one in the last video, the original. The original is still my favorite. This, a lot of people didn't think was great. I actually thought it was pretty respectable for a remake. The original is still classic. But
that girl kind of looks like she has a long neck, if I'm being completely honest.
A long neck. Let's see. This has got, who is this? Is it Ryan Reynolds?
3 movies stacked right on top of each other. Don't mind
can't
if I do.
But anyway, worth checking out. Ooh, one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah, love that movie.
Frailty.
Frailty.
Right here. I have it in my hands.
Yes, and Bill Paxton, rest in peace. Probably other than Weird Science. I know that's not horror related, but hey, I love Weird Science. Can't just be horrified all the time. Comedies, dramas, family movies, I like them all. But horror is kind of my thing that's close to my heart. And Bill Paxton, man, rest in peace. One of your best films. And Matthew McConaughey, of course.
And that is how this channel started. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Hunger for Horror.
I think we've given them a smorgasbord between the last video and this one. We need to keep going. We still got
Okay. This one is Straw Dogs.
Again, one that I debated whether or not I wanted to include in the horror video, but it's definitely a thriller. It's almost Last House on the Leftish in tone. People being terrorized and attacked. It's horrific enough for me. What's your next one there? Oh, I like that.
It is Jennifer Dark Water.
Unrated version. Always see the unrated version when you can of any movie. Of course, if you're a horror fan, you already know this. If there's again, a Blockbuster buy. Or nope, Movie Gallery. Movie Gallery is also now out of business. About the only one that's still around anymore is Family Video, as far as I know.
Oh, I accidentally grabbed 4, but it'll do, guys. It'll do. The one I'm holding
Another
is
Dimension Extreme film coming up.
The Wizard of Gore.
This is a remake of Herschel Gordon Lewis's classic. Definitely something worth checking out. And it's got, Crispin Glover playing the madman in the movie. Definitely, he does a great job. So I think that's a lot of fun. I enjoy that movie a lot.
And also, since we showed Paranormal Activity,
and 3. We've done 1 and 3, but we just everything's just kind of thrown together.
We haven't showed Paranormal Activity 2.
This is my favorite of all of them. Some people would say the first one. Yeah, the first one is, maybe as good, but I like this one just a little more personally. They take this all, and I love how it just flows right in from the last movie right into this one. This is it's kind of interesting how they set up. If I remember correctly, actually I messed that up. I didn't mean to say that. This is a prequel. This actually shows what happened right before the whole thing with the Paranormal Activity. So this is actually a prequel, and the third one is even a further back prequel. So what order do you want to watch these movies in anyway? I don't know. Make up your mind. Either watch them in the order they came out or watch them in reverse.
I don't know to do a jump scare on this one or not, but this is called Vicious.
Yeah, Vicious. This is an interesting little film, kind of fun. I revisited it here not too long ago, and it's got Tom Savini, famous, makeup artist who did Maniac for one, and American Werewolf in London. This is an old MTI release. See down there in the corner, MTI. I think they're still around.
Don't
I believe.
make sure to not just cover us up.
Well, just for a moment.
Okay.
You cover me up all the time. That's okay.
Okay. I don't want to ruin the channel or anything.
You're not ruining anything.
Here we go. So, this is Conjure.
Conjure, yes.
As well as I'm covering.
Not a fantastic film, but kind of interesting. Guy that did a lot of the poster art for a lot of famous horror movies actually decided to make his own movie. This isn't horrible. I mean, some people might, I don't know, maybe I'm being charitable, but I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, it's obvious the guy had a lot of passion, really cared a lot about the movie, wanted to, do a good job. I mean, it shows. His heart definitely went into this, so I'm not going to badmouth this. It's a pretty good movie. I mean, I would check it out at least once. You may not want to watch it again, but I watched it a couple times. I enjoyed it. I'll probably watch it again someday.
Oops, 4 again, but like I said, it will do. First is Prophecy.
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 One of the best PG-13, or PG, actually this was before PG-13. Prophecy is all kinds of crazy fun creature feature movie again. Definitely would recommend Prophecy to you. A lot of fun. Original Paramount.
Good.
Really lacking in bonus features, but
The Entity. Right here.
The Entity.
The Entity.
This is supposedly based off a true story. If it was, then that poor woman, I tell you. But this is basically about a woman who gets attacked by ghosts in a unique way in which ghosts don't usually attack people. I'll leave it that way since my son is here.
And Super
Anchor Bay found this old uber cheap at a pawn shop for $2.
As well.
And by the way, this movie, when I looked it up, right after I bought it at the pawn shop, I looked it up and people were trying to sell it for $70, $75. So I don't know how rare this is now. I think it might have got a re-release, maybe even a Blu-ray release, I think. But Entity, definitely worth checking out.
Also,
Terrifying.
there is ghosts in Super Mario 64. So, they make scary sounds. So, just try to ignore them because they're very scary. Just try to ignore the ghosts. Just try to. Okay. Anyways, The Red Right Hand.
Yep. This was a pickup movie I wanted to see that I got for cheap. This was actually less than $5.99. I actually got this for less than that at Movie Gallery. And it's one of those Asylum. You know the Asylum, they're low budget. Either you love low budget horror films or you don't. Some people just will not watch a low budget horror film. They can't appreciate things for what they are, and that's fine, to each their own. If you don't like low budget, you don't have to watch them. But I did enjoy this one. This one is actually one of the better movies from the Asylum.
I just kind of got a jump scare right here. Man, did not like looking at that. The Dark Ride.
Yep, Dark Ride. This, if you like the Funhouse, this isn't as good as the Funhouse, but it certainly kind of pays homage to it. I like these kind of movies. Basically, you go and spend the night in a haunted house, or you get trapped in a haunted house for fun, and there's really bad stuff. You might not come out alive. That's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite movies of the one of the 8 films to die for After Dark Horror Fest series, which you can always tell from the red lettering on the box like that.
1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Good luck pronouncing that one. But you've heard me say it because I've talked about that movie because it's quite crazy.
Anthropophagus.
Anthropophagus. Joe D'Amato. This movie's just crazy. It's brutal. It's bizarre. It's definitely creepy and a lot of fun, atmospheric. Like I said, I've got the Blu-ray of this now, but I got this when they were kind of expensive. Don't put your hand in my face. Let me finish up.
Okay.
I got this used for probably a little more than what it originally sold for. But one of the discs is cracked around the hole. I hate when you get discs with a crack at the hole because that crack just gets bigger and worse. Eventually the disc will be ruined. But the movie disc is fine, and it's a DVD 2-disc set. So the Blu-ray, if you haven't seen it yet,
guys,
from Severin is fantastic. Go ahead.
I got another jump scare here, guys. It's the Black Woods.
It's called Backwoods.
Backwoods. He ripped off someone's arm.
Yeah, this is kind of a... gosh, I can't even read what label this is.
I don't know if I want to leave.
Insidious Pictures, I think.
I don't know if I want to leave or not. I don't know if I've had enough of the scary horror movie pictures. I'm assuming I'm going to stay. The next one is called Cursed.
Yeah, Backwoods was fun, by the way. If you can find it, check it out. It's very low budget, but I still enjoyed it. Wes Craven goodness, unrated version. By far, see the unrated version. Again, I got this one from Blockbuster, so I don't know if it's been censored or not. Usually if it says Blockbuster exclusive edition, you know that one's been censored. Or they are the only video store at the time that could carry it. But Cursed is actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. It's another werewolf movie.
1, 2, 3. Here we go.
We're in the home stretch.
We're in Rooms for Tour 6.
Rooms for Tourists. Spanish movie, black and white. Very interesting. I think it might be kind of hard to find now. This is a release from Miranda Pictures. Yeah. So, and Strand releasing. It's kind of like Hostel.
Here we go. We have 4-film collection. Leprechaun. Leprechaun 3, and Leprechaun 4.
And 2. 2 is in there too. They didn't skip 2. See, Leprechaun 2. It's Leprechaun 3.
I thought that was just part of the cover, but
Go ahead.
well, yeah. If you like the movie Leprechaun, this is the pack for you.
Yep, Jennifer Aniston, of course, everyone knows her first major role, Leprechaun. There she is. I think she just owns it, unfortunately. You know, horror gets a bad rep. It's just, some people just do it to break into the business, but they don't really like horror.
Kind of got another jump scare here, guys. The killer rats. He looks like he's inside. I would assume that fur there is a rat, and there's some...
Rat's eye. It's exactly what it says it is. It's killer rats. It's like snakes on a plane. It's what it says it is.
For a second, I thought that was some guy in a hockey mask.
Yep. So if you like your creature features like I do, good stuff. Here, I'm going to just hand them to you one at a time.
Oh! Sounds pretty good. Changing up the vein a little bit. But that's what we're all about here in Hunger for Horror. Anyways, this is Prison of the... What's behind
Dead.
that there?
Prison of the Dead.
Okay, I was assuming that because, as you know, it's a horror movie.
I believe this is out of print now. I got this pretty cheap.
Hence
Found this
the name
at,
Hunger for... Yes, I've been wanting to show this one for so long.
Just a second. Before you go on to that one, though, I got this at the Exchange in Sandusky, Ohio. Another great chain of stores out in the Ohio area, the Exchange. Definitely recommend you stop in there and look. They have great deals, nice people, and they do a great job. And Prison of the Dead was, you know, a typical full moon Charles Band film. You know, it was what you expect. I mean, it was good. It was a good low budget horror movie. Go ahead.
Guys, I've been wanting to show this disc for so long. It is the All Hallows Eve double feature. All Hallows Eve Come Out and Play. All Hallows Eve 2 Don't Answer the Door.
Yep, and both of these are fun. All Hallows Eve is known as a fun anthology. 2 is also very good. I bought the DVD instead of the Blu-ray because the DVD version contains the sequel and the Blu-ray contains another movie, and I wanted to get both movies, so I bought the DVD. I'm not such a snob that I won't buy a DVD, but if I can get a good Blu-ray equivalent, I prefer that.
Is this even a horror movie? This doesn't really look like horror-like. It's called Killer Rock.
It's Killer Rack. It's basically what you... I mean, it's censored. I mean, there's a bar over the front of it, but this is something that Wyatt definitely isn't allowed to watch, but it's a lot of fun. It's ridiculous camp home video stuff. Yeah, woman gets breast implants from an evil doctor, and the breast implants start eating people. What can I say?
Whoa, I nearly dropped to that. Thank you, Daddy. Okay.
It's alright.
We have The Last Broadcast, The End of the World.
This is actually a movie that was made before Blair Witch Project, it's about the Jersey Devil, and it's one of those found footage films. So if you like Blair Witch Project and that style of film, check this out. It's actually quite good.
Okay. We gotta show this one first, because this...
Oh, that's a great movie.
This one, just so disgusting. It's also pretty scary. the stuff.
The stuff.
It looks like puke, actually.
It's about the yogurt ice cream style treat that's sweeping the nation, and I can't the tagline: "Are you eating it, or is it eating you?" Larry Cohen goodness, like Q, the Winged Serpent. He's done some very interesting movies. This is definitely a good horror with a comedy mix. I don't usually like horror and comedy mixed, but sometimes if you do it right, it just works. This one definitely works. I can easily recommend this stuff. And this has got a very good Arrow Blu-ray release now, too, for people that really want the ultimate edition of the movie.
And we have Classified.
Yeah, Amityville Classified. This was actually a bonus disc included with the other 3 films in a certain DVD set, and apparently this disc is now kind of rare. I bought this for 99 cents, not knowing how rare it was. I got this at
how rare is it?
Vintage Stock in Independence.
How rare is it?
Pretty rare. I mean, they don't print this anymore, from what I can tell, unless it's included as a bonus in the Blu-ray or something on the one of the Amityville collections.
Here comes an. Is this a Warner Bros?
No, it's not Warner Brothers, but I have to.
It's Bad Taste.
I need to introduce this one. It's got the lenticular cover, Bad Taste. I got a fantastic deal on this, and this was come out of shop in New York. I'm trying to remember the name, Bull Elephant. And this is an original, brand new Anchor Bay, and it had not been opened. So I had shrink wrap on it, but I think they sold it as used, which I didn't understand why. But anyway, it is one of the limited edition. And I got number 28,249 out of 50,000, and I absolutely love this. You know Peter Jackson for the Lord of the Rings films, original Anchor Bay, of course. Absolutely one of my favorite films. Funny, crazy, gory. It's more of a gory action comedy, and this definitely shows that Peter Jackson had a lot of talent long before he ever made the Lord of the Rings movies, and also. If you want to watch a great Peter Jackson horrific double feature, this and Dead Alive. See those two together. But Bad Taste has this nice little slip cover on it. It's got the lenticular cover. Obviously, he's given the bird. So, anyway.
Guys, before we show the next 2 movies, for some reason, Daddy, when you showed that again, for some reason, for a second, I pictured that as Granny from Roblox.
Okay. Younger fans might know what that is. I'm vaguely familiar with it.
Very, very, very scary Granny. But here we go. The next movie is Planet Terror. I hope that planet with the terror on it is not Earth.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorites of the, because when they released Grindhouse to the theaters, it was Planet Terror followed up by Death Proof, I think it was what it was called. And you can get the 2 together in one DVD and one Blu-ray set now for $10 or less most places. So yeah, the Grindhouse movies are great. I would recommend both of them. Kurt Russell's in the second one, Death Proof. A lot of fun. I love Kurt Russell. And this has what's her name from Marilyn Manson, Rose McGowan, before she went crazy.
And there's something on the back that's kind of disgusting. If you guys don't see that, her leg has a gun in it, and it's like all wrinkled up and
well, yeah, she lost her leg, and there's a backstory to that, and I'll let you watch the movie to discover it. But the Grindhouse stuff is basically an homage back to the 1970s drive-in fair, done by who was the director, Robert Rodriguez. So great stuff. Get the Grindhouse Blu-ray double feature, or you can get the Blu-rays individually if you wish, but I would recommend you get the Grindhouse double feature because it includes all the joke previews in between to make it feel like you're at the drive-in in the 70s. Go ahead.
So guys, a musician was trying to do a trick where he hopped a bunny out of his hat magically, but apparently the bunny turns into a musician himself.
Well, Peter Rottentail is a Polonia Brothers film, so you know what you're getting if you know the Polonia Brothers. Ultra low budget, but they obviously loved what they did, had a lot of heart. Definitely had some talent there, just not a lot of money in some of the early features. And Peter Rottentail is one of my favorite from that era in their early days. Definitely has a sense of humor about it. Killer Easter Bunny. I mean, and that's not the only Killer Easter Bunny movie out there, but it's one of the few that I've seen.
Guys,
I like it.
I've seen this movie down the camera in our living room, but I actually haven't showed it in the but actually haven't showed it in the Hunger for Horror channel. Actually, was it in there where you could see it even before this channel started? I don't know, but it is called Not of This Earth.
Which is a remake. It's a Roger Corman remake. I think Roger Corman might have done the original. I'm not sure. It's got Tracy Lords, of course. And I don't know. This hasn't got a Blu-ray release yet for some reason. Not sure why. But Not of This Earth is more of a comedy. You know, sci-fi. But it has some horror elements to it. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's an awful lot of fun. Definitely good B-movie stuff.
The next one is... Daddy, do you know how you're a fan of turds? Well, this is called Monster Turd.
No, Monster'd.
Monster.
They combine monster and turd together. Hey, if this has its particular audience. If you like ridiculousness, creative ideas, take your worst thoughts and make a movie out of them. Basically, a big turd monster man runs around attacking people. What can I say? Definitely a lot of fun. Better than you'd think it would be. And this is from the old Elite edition, Elite Entertainment. Another label that has long gone out of print. Thank you, Elite, for the great work that you did put out while you were in business. I supported you, obviously.
And the next one is Life Force by Steve Railsback, Peter Firth, Patrick Stewart, Frank Finlay, Nicholas Ball, and Matilda May.
Yeah, oh, Matilda May.
Matilda.
But hey, you know what? You know who directed this, right?
Who?
Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh.
This movie has a lot of nudity, which is a lot of people that love this movie love it for that reason. I think it's Matilda May. She's naked through a very large portion of the film. The movie has more than that going for it. Don't let that deter you. If nudity bothers you, I would say stay away from this. If you don't want your kids to see a lot of nudity, don't watch this with them. But do I recommend this movie? Absolutely. And there's also a limited edition steelbook version of this available right now as we speak, I believe, from Shout Factory. So if you've never seen Life Force, definitely a great, great film. Very original story.
And, dude, first I have a question before I show this movie. Why did you put Jaws 2 in here? It's not really a horror movie.
Well, a lot of people do consider Jaws movies to be horror. It's about a big monster shark eating people. What's more horrific than that? That's pretty horrific, don't you think?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
would you want to watch
Jaws,
it? Would that scare you?
Maybe.
I think
Jaws
it would.
2. Here it is, guys.
Yep, you know it. It's a very respectable follow-up. Jaws 3 I like as well. Jaws 4, sorry. That one just didn't do it for me. It's called Jaws the Revenge is what Jaws 4 is. Here's a double feature, and I love the first one especially.
It's a double feature. It is Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror. I love that name.
Tales from the Crypt is one of the best Christmas scary things. And it's PG, but it's a brutal PG. And I think this is also, I know this is available from Shout Factory now on Blu-ray. Same collection, both double features. Shout Factory picked up a lot of these midnight movie packs and a lot of the MGM catalog when MGM DVD went out of business. And they were sold to Sony, I think. But anyway, Shout Factory ended up releasing a bunch of them. One of my favorite snake movies of all time. Absolutely a fantastic. This was made for television, I believe.
And of course, it's called.
One of the snake movies that I don't think has gotten near the attention it deserves. Saw it on TV when I was a kid. Had nightmares about the thing. So hey, like I said, I think it was a TV movie. If not, it's a PG movie. It's not horrible. This is one to watch with your kids if if they aren't too bothered by horror things. This one doesn't go extreme, but it's a great story. It's a creature feature. I'm not going to give away the surprise. I'm not going to say anything more about this other than just absolutely see this film. What is this? This is a Universal release.
Well, then if you had nightmares about it, must be pretty horror. So if you don't like... So if for some reason you're not a horror fan like me, if you're not a horror fan and you're for some reason watching this right now, don't watch that movie because it will scare you to death. And I mean scare you to death. Oh.
Okay, let's finish up these last few. This is a long video. Saw 4 director's cut. Obviously got it Gerbs Dylan's video. Got this on the cheap. When they were selling off their stock, when they were getting rid of their VO department, there's the disc. The disc looks kind of cool. It looks like a saw blade.
Oh,
so if you like the Saw series, now by the time I got to the fourth one, the story got so convoluted that I didn't really even understand hardly what was going on anymore. That's probably a problem with me, not with the average person that watches it.
If you guys are actually a fan of boobs, this
no, there's more going on here than that, son. This is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, the lovely Cassandra Peterson, who is a beautiful person inside and out. And, you know, this is more of a comedy than a horror flick, but, you know, she, you know, definitely pays homage to horror movies, and she's done a great thing for bringing mainstream attention to the classic B-grade horror film. And this is an original Anchor Bay. I got this, you know, at half-price books for, what, $2 on the clearance rack. So, hey, can't beat that. And it was definitely worth every penny.
And this one is Elvira's Haunted Hills.
Yeah, much lower budget film than the last one. It took them a while to do the follow-up. Her and her husband basically put this thing together, and with what money they had, and it's got Riff Raff from Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
O'Brien.
He has a prominent role in this. Definitely a respectable follow-up. I love Elvira, and I love the movies that she was in.
3 more options.
Okay.
This one, I think we should do Prey.
Yep.
First.
Part of the early Redemption series, one of the first ones to go out of print. I now have this. This is available from Vinegar Syndrome on Blu-ray, which I would recommend. That would be the way to watch this, and it's the full, complete version. But this is the early DVD release, and it was hard to get when I got it, but I got one before you couldn't get it anymore.
When did it go out of print?
It's a British horror movie, by the way.
When did it go out of print?
Oh, gosh, probably 10 years ago at least.
Okay. Breeders.
This is a Tim Kincaid movie, I believe is his name, yes. This I got cheap because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I always thought, well, I used to have the big box VHS, which I wish I still had because I know collectors would have loved to add that. Probably could have got some money for it. Or I probably would have kept it. But, you know, you run out of room after a while, and you choose what you want to hold on to and what you don't. But Breeders, fun little alien horror flick, and it's got, Frances Raines from The Mutilator is also in this. And I love Frances. She's a good actress, and she's a beautiful lady. What can I say? So, Breeders, it's worth a look if you can find it.
Guys, if you were wondering what this is all about, since he said what you're holding on to, I was pretending to say holding on to just because I am a fan of Death, if you weren't on the loop there. But
Fan of the group Death, the heavy metal band, the death metal band.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
Bloody Birthday.
Creepy kid movie. Love creepy kids. I mean, The Children is a good one, but this one's every bit as good, if not better. And actually, this one gets great reviews. And it is a fantastic movie. I don't know if the Blu-ray is still available. I think Olive Films put it out on Blu-ray. Might be out of print now. Might be hard to get, so hopefully it gets a re-release. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case with that one.
Before we go on to the next movie, is it anything... I have a question. Is it anything similar to Happy Death Day?
Bloody Birthday? No, totally different type of movie.
But yeah, this
I mean, they're both horror movies. That's about all they have in common.
3.
Season of the Witch, which you know is the one that does not have Mike Myers in it. This is the version that you probably won't find easily, so it's probably collectible. Because it's the Good Times DVD edition I bought at Walmart for like $2 or $3. Really cheap back then. Definitely a movie that's finally starting to get some love. I think the whole fact that it was called Halloween just bothered people so much that they couldn't find any reason to, they couldn't find it in their hearts to like the movie for what it was. But in and of itself, great movie. If it had a different title, probably been more popular. Great movie, though.
1, 2, 3.
We just got a few left.
And we have one more left. Let's just add it.
One more bunch left. We got 4 left.
Yes.
This is finishing up the archives. If those of you that stayed with us, if you've watched all this, thank you. Bless you.
First one is, what was it called again? Killer Party.
Another one of the Warner Archive series, and this is also the remastered edition. So it looks and sounds great. Like I said, the fact that it's a burn-on-demand disc, don't let that deter you. And this is one of those that kind of flew under the radar. I remember this playing at the theater when I was a kid, and it only played for like a week or two, and I didn't get to see it. Back then, there was a horror movie a week came out, because horror movies were big.
Okay. Here is The Ring.
The Ring. We saw The Ring 2 earlier. This is the one that started it all. Again, one of the best PG-13 horror movies of all time by most people's estimates. Definitely scary, great story, great performances. I mean, what can you... And you really can't say anything bad about this movie. It's really good.
And here is Event Horizon. Now you may be questioning why we're going so quickly. Well,
Event
because,
Horizon.
if you got it, does it show the battery thing?
No, I don't know, but we'll finish it up real quick
but
here. But anyway, Event Horizon, Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne.
If you guys have,
this is my favorite sci-fi horror film of all time. Absolutely should watch this.
If you guys have watched this for the entire time and you can see the battery, you could see that it is on its last bar.
So let's finish up real quick. Audition. Basically, you know, be careful who you date. It's one of those movies. Be careful who you date. This movie is hard to watch. This is the uncut special edition from Lionsgate. This is still available. You can still get this, I'm pretty sure. Definitely worth checking out. But if you don't have a strong stomach for torturous violence, definitely avoid this one. I even had a little bit of a hard time watching this, and I've seen it all, guys. I've seen everything. So anyway, that is finally it. That's the archives. That is the longest series I'll ever do. Probably the longest videos I'll ever do. Wyatt, I hope you enjoyed his cute commentary.
Yeah.
I love him.
And also, do subscribe, like, and if you have watched this for the entire time, please do subscribe. Well, I always said subscribe, but yeah, do subscribe, and we will see you on our next video of Hunger for Horror. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.